club doesn't seem to worry about injustice in our own backyard. If it did, they'd be worried about Roseanne Catt, an issue I've raised before. Roseanne Catt had a business in Taree in 1980. In 1984, the business caught fire and burnt down. A policeman, Peter Thomas, charged her with the crime. In 1985, the charge was no billed, no case to answer. The policeman, Thomas, was transferred to Newcastle. In 1987, a fellow called Barry Catt offered Roseanne's son, Peter Bridge, an apprenticeship. He began courting Roseanne Catt. They were married. 2 years later, in 1989, the same Peter Thomas and 10 police invaded Roseanne Catt's home, charged her with attempting to poison her husband, viciously assaulting her husband, and allegedly offering 3 people thousands of dollars to have him killed. In 1990, there was a committal hearing in Taree. In 1991, there was a 4-month trial with one Patrick Power as the prosecutor. Mr. Power has now himself been charged with serious offences unrelated to this matter. He was one of the senior people in the DPP at the time he was charged. But Roseanne Catt in 1991, at the end of a 4-month trial, was sentenced to 12 years, 3 months jail by Justice Jane Matthews. In the year 2000, the Four Corners program did a story on this policeman, Thomas. Fresh evidence from Thomas's colleagues was sent to the Attorney-General. Nothing was done. Police investigated Thomas and concluded he was corrupt. In 2001, there was a sit-in for 3 weeks, including a sister of charity who got to know Roseanne Catt when she was at the Malawa Correctional Centre. The sister of charity has written to me to tell me that prison officers would tell the sister when she was visiting Roseanne that Roseanne Catt would never get out of jail, she'd be killed. When the sister Claudette complained to the then Minister Watkins, a priest was sent to Sister Claudette's home and told her she'd be banned from the jail by the then Governor Lee Downs and the Commissioner Ron Woodham, and the church recommended that Sister Claudette resign. Sister Claudette made repeated representations to every government authority, the Attorney-General, the Police Commissioner, Premier Yema, MPs, MLCs, about Roseanne Catt. The matter's been raised in Parliament 95 times. On the 24th of July 2001, the Attorney-General Debus, no longer in the government, ordered a review of the trial. Roseanne Catt was released from jail by the Court of Criminal Appeal. She'd spent 10 years, 3,652 days in jail. Where are you, members of the David Hicks fan club? In 2002, the Supreme Court ordered an inquiry. In 2004, Mr Justice Davidson advised that all Roseanne Catt's convictions were unsafe. 3 months later, the DPP, Cowdery and his team, threatened a retrial if all Roseanne Catt's convictions were overturned. What did they have to worry about? In 2005, the Court of Criminal Appeal did overturn 6 of Roseanne Catt's 8 convictions. The policeman, Peter Thomas, was the informant in all of those convictions. The Attorney-General, the DPP and the police took no action against Peter Thomas and the co-conspirators. Roseanne Catt last year lodged an application with Attorney-General Debus for compensation. On September 8 last year, the Attorney-General said in Parliament, a decision on compensation will soon be made. September 8 last year. Well, we've had an election. But then in mid-February, further evidence was produced to the Attorney-General Debus. He did nothing. In late February this year, Roseanne Catt petitioned the Governor Murray Bashir, asking for her case to be put before the Court of Criminal Appeal in order to quash the remaining 2 convictions against her. Former Attorney-General Debus did nothing. Premier Morris Yema knows all about this. I have written to him about it. He's done nothing. Ken Moroney, the Police Commissioner, has done nothing. And then there's Tracy Taylor, a prosecution witness at the trial of Roseanne Catt for the attempted murder of her husband. She's also had her story published in recent weeks. She has said she gave false evidence for police because she feared for her life. Plenty of energy wasted on David Hicks. Not one syllable uttered in relation to any of this. And Tracy Taylor has agreed to speak to me. Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Alan. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you. Tell us of your associations with Roseanne Catt. They go back to 1991, do they?
Well, yes. I lived in Taree and used to work at a bakery up there, and Roseanne owned a delicatessen around the corner from where I worked, and I wanted to be a chef, so she gave me a full-time job in the delicatessen, and that's how I met her, yeah.
And then you left Taree?
Yes, I did. I left Taree and got on with my apprenticeship, and then...
Did you have any association with Roseanne Catt?
All the time.
All the time?
All the time, yeah. She was like my mother. She took me under her wing and taught me how to cook and got me started with my career, and I owe her a hell of a lot of thanks for that. But I went away and did my apprenticeship, and then I came back to Taree and we hooked up again, and she's one of my dearest friends. So.
In 1991, which is 16 years ago, you say you were threatened with being charged with a murder conspiracy.
Definitely. Yes, I was actually made sign a false statement. So Barry Catt and Peter Thomas and also Carl Pageant was another policeman. These two policemen came to my house and interviewed me, took me to a police station and interviewed me for hours and basically told me that if I didn't do what they wanted, that they would basically kill me and my child at the time. So, it was a pretty horrendous thing that I went through, but, I'm making up for it now, I hope.
And you caused harm to Roseanne Catt along the way?
Well, I think by doing what I did, someone that she respected and loved, must have been very painful for her to go through that. So, I did think I caused her a lot of pain and anguish, but, it's something at that time I thought I had to do because...
to save your own life?
Well, yeah, for sure.
They said you were a prostitute and that Roseanne was the madam.
That's totally ridiculous.
And that you'd kept guns.
I've never seen a gun. And what they painted Roseanne to be was just ridiculous.
You've never seen Roseanne Catt with a gun?
Oh, God, no.
But they said to you that you'd be charged with conspiring to murder Barry Catt.
That's correct, yeah.
And you said in your statement, you've made this statement, I was threatened into signing a statement that was not mine. I was terrified. I feared for my life and my baby's life.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, in 2004, as I said, this acting district court judge, Tom Davidson, found a detective and others may have framed Roseanne Catt. Did that ring a bell with you?
No, I don't know about that, but I'm definitely sure she was framed because there are things that just don't add up now. There's things... 6
of the 8 convictions were quashed.
I know.
But she'd served 10 years in jail.
I know, that's ridiculous.
They said that she attempted to poison her husband, that she stabbed her husband, and that she offered people thousands of dollars to have him killed.
There's one thing about the poisoning, Alan. I can justify that is just totally outrageous because I used to go to Roseanne's house and cook for Barry Catt and all the children, and everyone used to eat out of the same pot. We all used to eat the same things, and that's just totally ridiculous. We all,
You spoke to the media on February 12 this year and told of your horrendous ordeal, so you've said all this before.
I have, and
Has anyone contacted you about your allegations?
No, sir, they haven't. Nobody.
So you went public on February 12, no one from the Premier's office?
Nobody.
The Attorney General's office?
No, sir, no.
The DPP?
No.
The police?
No one.
And Peter Thomas, the policeman, is walking the streets. He's not been arrested.
I know.
Roseanne Catt's husband, Barry Catt's not arrested.
No.
So authorities are letting roam people who may be criminals.
Well, yeah, definitely. And
do you know that... threatened you by name?
I do. Carl Pageant, Peter Thomas, they're the people that,
They came to your house?
Yes, they did. And they, basically...
And you went along with them because you were frightened, you signed because you were intimidated?
Well, I had to.
And you told lies because they said they'd charge you with conspiring to murder Barry Catt?
Yes, and I regret it.
Right. And you said all of that, and no one from the government of any instrumentality has made any contact with you since February 12th?
No, sir, they haven't.
And yet you know the people who threatened you into signing the statement?
I can see their faces right now.
And you were terrified?
Absolutely.
And you feared for your life. Are you frightened now?
I'm a little bit anxious. I wouldn't say I'm frightened because they can't hurt me any more than what they have.
But why wouldn't someone come up and say, Tracy Taylor, we want to talk to you about all of this and about this case?
I would love someone to say that. Someone who actually cares, someone that, can help Roseanne out. She's been, convicted and it's all wrong, it's all lies. And there's so much evidence to say that, everything was false, everything. And I can't understand why. It makes me so angry. I get a lump in my throat every time I talk about it. Why are they still walking free? And they're probably doing exactly the same thing to other people that they did to Roseanne. She lost 10 years of her life. She lost her son, she lost me, she lost her daughter. She's been to hell and back, that woman, and what are people doing about it? Sticking their head in the sand because they don't really care. Well, it's not good enough. Sorry, not good enough.
Okay, well, we'll keep in touch with you and thank you for talking to us.
Thanks,
We'll
Palmer.
keep in touch.
Okay, have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
So the David Hicks fan club might turn to some legitimate injustice. And while the Emma government's paralysed, it might start to govern. And do what former Attorney General Bob Davis promised on September 8, that compensation for Roseanne Catt will soon be made. And if what Tracy Taylor is saying to us is true, and there's no reason it shouldn't be, are there people who framed Roseanne Catt, told lies about Roseanne Catt, intimidated Tracy Taylor, threatened her, and got out of her a false declaration? Are they walking the streets as free people? And if so, Mr. Cowdery, why are they?